Hello everyone, welcome to Saturn Mahadasha. On this video I'm discussing in some detail for you the 19-year period when Saturn rules your life, including also ascendant and sign placements to be considered with remedies also. If you are new to my channel, sub below. Let's begin. So who exactly is Saturn, everyone? What is his purpose and agenda in Mahadasha? Saturn is the offspring or son of Surya, the sun god. But unlike the sun god, who is only concerned with spirituality in terms of raising our consciousness to purity, Saturn has a different job description. In fact, Saturn and his father have a great deal of conflict between them, but that's a long story. Here's the most important factor. Saturn's job description is to take care that every living entity's karmas are fulfilled. He is the Lord of time. He is the Lord of justice. He has to administer this to the last T, if you like, to the last dot of that I. So basically, whatever good deeds we have done must be rewarded, and whatever evil deeds we have done, no matter how small, they must have retribution. So he knows the deeds of every single living being in this material world. Can you imagine that? Now, this is what people get quite frightened about, because people are concerned that in Shani Mahadasha we are going to have really difficult time because, oh heavens, all of our karmas are going to come back to us at this time. But it doesn't work like that. Here's what's happening. Saturn is administering karma to you from the moment you take birth, no matter what Mahadasha, because he is circling around your chart, and he will go through Sati Sati, Saturn Dayas, many aspects to all of your natal planets. He is constantly bringing karma to you. If you are not sure about Saturn transit, have a look on my channel, link below. Have a whole playlist with a lot of detail for you about Sati Sati and similar effect. But Saturn Mahadasha has a different impact. Saturn Mahadasha can often be one of the most productive and valuable times in anybody's lives. The exact result will depend on many factors, and on the video I am definitely going to discuss those with you. What you have to understand is that you have specific karmas shown by your Saturn sign position. Again, there is a video on my channel, have a check below, where I give all of those Saturn karmas in a great deal of detail for you. Check that out. But even beyond that, Saturn has a purpose to make you more disciplined, more focused. Saturn Mahadasha is perhaps the most full-on, 100% energetic and forceful Mahadasha, even more than Mars Mahadasha. Saturn will put your nose to the grindstone. Saturn won't let you have a lazy day. If you have a lazy nature, oh my goodness, Saturn Mahadasha is going to shake you up. He's going to make sure that you don't have any more lie-ins, Saturn's going to make it that you won't be able to take time off to shirk your duty. And if you try to, it's going to be very difficult. So Saturn is about hard work, dedication, duty, discipline. But the rewards that Saturn gives are the most concrete, the most lasting of any planet at all. So many people in this Mahadasha get fantastic success. They get married, they get a fantastic job, they get the most incredible education, everything which is real, lasting. Rahu has a similar impact. He shakes up our life and he makes us get on with our material factors for sure. But Rahu is illusion, whereas Saturn is not illusion. Saturn is real. So Saturn is the only planet capable of giving us real, lasting effects, because he is Lord of time. So when Saturn gives you good results, be sure they will be concrete. Nobody can take them away from you. So what remedial measures can we take, everybody, to help us in this 19-year period? I'm giving you these instructions as per Pandit Sanjay Rath, who has shown us the good and bad karmas related to each planet. Actually, Saturn's karmas are very simple and very straightforward. Good Saturn karma comes from religious observation, worship, reading scripture. All of these things done regularly give amazingly good Saturn karma. It needs to come from your heart. It doesn't matter what religion, but you need to follow. Or if you want to create bad Saturn karma, you can ignore all of that, because bad Saturn karma is ignoring religion, being totally materialistic, having no insight into higher power at all, and just living for the moment, a real materialistic life. That creates very bad Saturn karma. Finally, Saturn is the lord of sacrifice, of austerity. So any austerities we perform at this time will definitely help us. They have to come from our heart and be sincerely meant. So Saturday is, of course, Saturn's day, when you may prefer to perform this. In addition, charity. Saturn particularly favors those who give to those who are vulnerable, either money or your time. Old people, disabled people, sick people, non-human animals, these are all connected to Saturn. So, Shani Mahadasha has begun. What is the first impact? It's most definitely time pressure. Saturn is Kala. He rules time. So for definite, you will feel this urgent need to accomplish things, to get things moving. You become aware of how little time there is. 24 hours, it doesn't seem like anything. You need more time. You've got so much you have to do. But the good news is that many people become highly organized. They get a good routine in place. And people say, I've never accomplished so much in 24 hours as I have done every day in this Mahadasha. It's a real feeling of moving forward with your life. But for some other people, it's a heavy burden. It feels like there's too many demands, too much you have to do, and it can seem overwhelming. So the idea is a little every day. Do what you absolutely have to do. The worst thing to do, though, in Shani Mahadasha is to procrastinate, to put things off until the next day. Things will mount up and it will become unbearable. And Saturn is not going to support that behavior. So come on to task, get what you have to have actually done when you should do it. And believe me, you will get a real feeling of happiness and organization in your life. Next thing is, of course, the obstacles that Saturn will throw up. Now, these are different to obstacles as you may have experienced before in your life, because Saturn is testing you at every moment to see if you will display patience and perseverance. You might think like there is no end to the constant obstructions that come up in this Mahadasha. Even in the areas of your life where there were no obstacles before and things were just going smoothly, all of a sudden there will be hurdles to overcome. But you should know there is always reward. Let me tell you of a beautiful story. It's actually a Buddhist story. It's well worth hearing. There was once a king who decided to test his subjects, and he placed on the highway a huge boulder, and then he went to hide. And so he wanted to see what was going to happen. So along came some of his subjects, and some of them were like complaining, what is this obstacle? What is this horrible boulder doing here? Just like this. Who has left it like this? But they just walked around it and just carried on anyway. Then there were some other people who would say, who is the king of this kingdom? He should be deposed. How can he allow obstacles like this, great big boulders, to be in the middle of a highway? They were complaining and moaning in that way. And then finally a farmer came along, a very poor farmer. He saw it and his reaction was, let me remove it. And he spent so much energy and time because, my goodness, it was a mighty boulder. And he wasn't a very strong farmer. Even so, he put so much effort into it, 100% of sweat and toil, and he removed it to the side of the road. And underneath there he found a pocket full of gold coins, a purse of gold coins. So that's the moral of the story. No matter how big and inconvenient obstacles are in this Shani Mahadasha, if you persevere with them, I promise you, Saturn will always reward you. Now, mental state in Shani Mahadasha, everyone, is very important. What's going to happen is people tend to absolutely split down the middle in this. If your Shani is strong, you will be in a very good mental state, actually. You will be able to feel like all of a sudden your life makes sense. All of a sudden you know where you're going, you've got a definite goal, and the roadmap is there. You know it's going to be hard work, you know it's going to require patience, perseverance, but you're up for it. And all of the obstacles you don't really care because you like to deal with them one by one. You feel on track in your life. It's a good feeling. You feel that you're going somewhere. It's a positive feeling. But for about 50% of the people, it doesn't happen in this positive way, at least not to begin with. And what tends to happen is that you actually become obstinate, angry, frustrated in this Mahadasha very easily. Why? Because wherever there is Saturn, there is Mars. Mars is that shadow of Shani. Mars is where you don't want to go. If you want more Saturn in your life, as they say, as Pandit Sanjay Rath has said, you go to Mars. You become angry, forceful, aggressive. My goodness, you can expect Shani big time. So you have to try to calm the anger, the frustration. Because of past karmas, you have to look at your natal place. As I've said, have a check on my channel to see about those deep karmas. You are going to face some of them once again. Saturn will take the opportunity of his own Mahadasha period to test you again. So you have to understand where you were before. You have to understand the sign placement of Saturn in some depth. And then you can see, aha, I've got Saturn in Libra. I know what's happening. My Saturn in Aries, oh, it's very clear. Here it comes again. So when you understand what you are facing, you can face it fairly and squarely. You won't be afraid. You won't go into that negative Mars of anger and frustration. And then you can definitely get on top of things. So be aware of your natal Saturn for sure to get yourself into a productive mental state in this time period. Another factor seen in Saturn Mahadasha, everybody, is issues with father, because the sun is actually the Karaka, if you like, of father, represents father and indeed authority figures. So what's going to happen is Saturn is the enemy of Sun, so there is conflict with father very often seen. You have to be careful to be dutiful at all times, most important. Family issues can become very acute because Saturn demands absolute duty, absolute responsibility at all times, and authority figures all of a sudden, particularly with an ill aspected Saturn, become obstructive to you, and it's really hard. Once again, you have to try for patience at all times. Next thing is that you are given responsibility. Now, this responsibility is definitely what Saturn wants you to take. So if it seems like you've got too much on your plate at work, try your best, your utmost. Don't just run away. If you run away from responsibility in Shani Mahadasha, Shani will not be pleased, and it will be so difficult. You will create negative karma, even if it seems unfair. Like you shouldn't have all this responsibility at work, let's say. Try to find a way to do your best. At least make an honest effort from your heart and soul to live up to responsibility if you want to get the best from this period. This can be anything, of course. This can be family responsibility. Many people have children. Many people have new family issues that come to the fore and give them special responsibility. But the positive thing is that you will also develop discipline. Saturn is very strict about this. He wants you to have a routine. He doesn't want you lying in bed, as I say, lazing around. He will not allow it. And if you try to do that, if you even try to have some easy time, I mean, obviously you have to have some recreation, but if you do not discipline yourself most of the time, you will quickly see that it isn't going well. So try to be more disciplined, and Saturn will most definitely reward this. Now, career and status is a major factor in this time period because Saturn is a karaka, one of the karakas for the 10th house of status career. Many people gain great success in this Mahadasha. It's a long 19-year period. So even if you have hurdles to begin with, over this time period, putting into play all the things I have discussed with you on the video and avoiding impatience, anger, frustration, but complete discipline, complete focus, you will actually gain more success than you could ever imagine. No one can give you greater success than Saturn. He is the planet of success. People don't realize he is the one who gives you that highest position or whatever it is you are personally seeking. So Saturn can give you that definitely, but you have to put in the hard work. Hard work like you've never done before. So what you thought was hard work before Shani Mahadasha, that's not hard work. Saturn wants twice the application that you did before. That's what he's really looking for. But for some people with an ill aspected Saturn, it's really hard to come up to this standard, and there can be roadblocks, there can be frustrations. But you have to see your whole chart, obviously. What you do want to do though is don't give up. Don't just walk away from a really difficult job situation because you don't want to put in the work. If it's because you hate the job, because it's really not for you, that's a different thing. If you know what you want to do and you start afresh from the very beginning, Saturn is fine with that. As long as you are work, and you are absolutely giving 100%, Saturn will always support you in this area for sure. So people become afraid of wealth in Saturn Mahadasha. It's unnecessary. It's completely not founded in the facts. Venus is the Lord of wealth, and Venus is a great friend to Saturn. So this Mahadasha is superb for building a great stockpile of wealth for many, many people. But here's the thing. Saturn will not support speculation. That's more Rahu. Saturn will not support it. Don't forget the 5th house of speculation is actually lorded by the Sun, Saturn's enemy. So do not expect that speculation is what's going to go down here. I mean, many karmas can be there, but in general, Saturn absolutely wants slow building of wealth, hard work, and he wants you to be charitable, to think of those who are less well off than yourself as you gain wealth. So when you give a little bit, like a tithe, a small amount of your accumulated wealth to other people, Saturn is very pleased, particularly old people, people who are disabled and non-human animals. These are very much about Saturn. So if you give, Saturn will keep what you have. Always remember that. But here's the thing, many people become enormously wealthy in this Mahadasha. So absolutely just be careful. Don't waste, don't speculate. Stay steady, and Saturn will support you all the way with wealth without doubt. Now, just like Saturn will support you in wealth creation, Saturn will support you in good traditional relationships, marriage. Many people get married in this Mahadasha, and according to your personal chart, it can be the most successful, long-lasting marriage. Saturn gives you things which last, don't forget, but you have to look at personal karmas. There can be many other factors, but he inclines you to serious relationships. Here's the point. Saturn isn't about wild partying, love affairs. And absolutely do not be unfaithful in this Mahadasha, please. As much as I don't want to preach everyone, but it's not the time for secrets and affairs, and because all of these things are coming from Mars, you see. Mars is passion. Mars is, maybe some sort of illicit activity, and Saturn will not support that. He will punish it. So we have to be really careful. Saturn wants you to fall in love with the person of your dreams, and he knows where they are. You have to be patient. If you show patience, the greatest relationships can absolutely be successful in this time period. So when is the best time to experience Saturn Mahadashas, and what are the differences? There are clear differences here because Saturn rules old age. She's not interested in youth for its own sake. So it can be very challenging to have Saturn early on in life. Now, in your childhood, that is different. That is going to come to you, those particular Saturn karmas, through your parents' lives. But once you are in your late teens, 20s, 30s, my goodness, it's a real challenge for many people, no matter how well placed, to have this shiny Mahadasha. But you can get through it, and it can mean that you gain stability that stays with you for the rest of your life. So it can be, for some people, an enormous blessing to have Saturn early in life, particularly if you have good, strong Saturn natally and in your D9, don't forget as well, and of course D10. So lots to look for. But if you have a mildly well-placed Saturn, even though it will be hard. I mean, I would be lying if I said it wasn't going to be hard, because it's not a good time planet. It's not a time for partying, doing all the things that everybody naturally wants to do when they're young. Saturn won't support you in it. It can be putting you away from your friends, taking friends away from you, taking you to strange places where you just don't feel happy. It can make you a bit of a loner when you are young. It can put you at a disadvantage for some time, but in the end it will support you as long as you put into play all the factors I have been discussing. But midlife is perhaps the most difficult time of all, in your 40s. If you have Saturn in your 40s, because 40s are the midlife crisis, when everybody begins to feel a bit itchy feet and wants to change their life. And Saturn is not for changing your life. That's Rahu. Saturn is not for making big changes and, going against tradition. Saturn won't tolerate it. So you can expect it to be a tricky ride midlife for sure. When you are 50s, 60s, and so on, my goodness, Saturn will support you. You have maturity, you know what you want in life, and you're not over ambitious. You are prepared to do what you have to do to make life solid. Saturn can be very helpful at this time, most certainly. So after studying the general factors everyone will experience, how can you judge Saturn Dasha in your chart? Let's see. So here we have, everybody, the key judgments that you have to make to understand Saturn in your chart. This is coming from Pandit Sanjay Rath. So these are rules that I have put into play in my own experience with many, many charts, and they have been extremely insightful. They have really shown what's going on in any Mahadasha. So the first rule is the house that is ruled by Saturn. Saturn rules 2 houses in your chart, Capricorn, Aquarius, and this indicates his relationship with your ascendant lord. This will be very important judgment, and on this very video I'm going to go through every lagna looking at this for you. But the second and often forgotten rule is the sign and house of the dispositor of Saturn. Now this does not just relate to Rahu Ketu. We must look at Saturn's dispositor. Saturn is in some house in your chart, but he is actually under the rulership of another planet. So say you have Saturn here. I've got Saturn first house. Say this is Taurus. You need to look, where is Venus? What house and what sign? Because that will give you the final result, the final outcome of that Mahadasha. I've seen this so many times. Finally, the sign and house position, the house placement and sign placement of Saturn will have a great impact. And on this video in a minute, I will go through the signs of Saturn, and they represent an internal experience, a very much a psychological experience of that Mahadasha for you. In addition, on my channel coming up soon, I will go through all of these factors, showing you how to judge Mahadasha. It's the 4th video in my Judgment of Mahadasha series. And when I have that, I will actually link it into this video for you. So when you have Saturn in fire signs, everybody, it can be quite challenging. So Saturn in Aries, Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn in Leo, you're going to face some internal struggles for sure in this 19-year period. apart from Sagittarius. Saturn in Sagittarius, according to Parashara, and this has been found to be definitely true, of course, is that Saturn here has that dharmic factor of being ruled by Jupiter, particularly if you have a well-placed Jupiter. And Saturn is in the 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th, 5th, 9th house. That's the Kendra and Trikona houses. This can be a very favorable Mahadasha because Jupiter gives you Dharma and Saturn wants nothing more than that you follow Dharma action for sure. Saturn in Aries makes you angry, aggressive, impulsive, and therefore you can be your own worst enemy in this Mahadasha. You have to try to contain anger and frustration for sure. Saturn in Leo makes you have this big ego that does not like authority. Again, I would say have a look on my channel, check that video I have, Saturn Karmas All Signs, to see where this is actually coming from, past lives. Leo, Saturn does not like authority, but Saturn wants you to be submissive to your elders and to authority figures. It's going to be a battle inside, a battle of wills many times. So you have to try to be a little more humble if you have Saturn Leo. Now, when you have Saturn in the earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn and Virgo, you're fortunate that Saturn Mahadasha will normally be something which you get to grips with fairly early. You get into tune with the energy of Shani and it works well for you, okay? Because Saturn is, of course, in his own sign, Capricorn. He wants to be dutiful. He wants to do the right thing. He's not afraid to be, slow about things, careful, meticulous. Same for Virgo, a very meticulous, careful Saturn. Taurus, focused on what has to be done, patient, persistent. So in every way, these are favorable factors to help you through this Mahadasha. Also, if you have Saturn in earth signs, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, Saturn will help you internally because of your past karmic situation here. Aquarius is a multi-cone sign of Shani. Shani is so powerful here. No matter what obstacles by aspects and house or even dispositor has gone that is holding things up for you, in the end you come out on top here because Saturn knows how to deal with these obstacles. In the end, he will normally give you success. And Gemini, you have great intelligence, great insight. You will have to use all of your insight and all of your intelligence in this Mahadasha. For sure, Saturn will test you, but in the end, you overcome obstacles. Libra, exaltation sign of Saturn. You bring good karmas, good Saturn karmas with you. These will put you in good stead to reap rewards in this Mahadasha. Now, the practical and focused energies of Shani are not well placed generally in water signs. But however, I want to tell you right away that Parashara has pointed out Pisces as a Jupiter sign, as a good factor for Shani Mahadasha. It's all to do with being Jupiterian, being dharmic. So in this way, Pisces, Saturn does far better in many ways. Cancer is very difficult, just like Aries, because Moon and Shani are not friends, just like Mars, Shani. So you can become overwhelmed and lose your confidence. Watch out for losing confidence in yourself. You've got to look to an inner sense of strength here. Saturn wants you to put aside sentimentality. He wants you to put aside emotion. He wants you to do your duty as much as you can. And if you try that, if you try just to come up to the mark, my goodness, this is a cardinal sign. You will have so much energy, so much to do, so much to get on with that these 19 years will just fly by. So it won't be so hard if you can put aside those emotions and just find a little bit more stability and faith in who you are. Scorpio Shani is very, very powerful Shani. Check the video on my channel to see those deep karmas you have absolutely brought with you. Saturn's going to test you for your moral actions, for being above board and being totally honest. He wants you to be honest. He doesn't want any behind the scenes, sussing out people, stalking people, worst case scenario. Scorpio's known for that, right? So anything that's a bit underhand, even if you've never done it before, you might be tempted to because of your Saturn being here. Be above board all the time. You will come out on top, because this is not like Aries energy. It's not so much about being impulsive and being lacking in patience. Scorpio Saturn has lots of patience, knows how to wait for the right time, but you must be above board, be completely crystal clear with people. Don't keep secrets, don't keep things under wraps, and Saturn will finally support you also. Finally, judgment by ascendant. Let's go through the 12 signs, but don't forget, everybody, to judge in your D9 as well and your D10 for career. In fact, every major Virgo chart ascendant can be judged in this way to see if Saturn supports you in that particular area in Mahadasha. So when you have Aries ascendant and it's Saturn Mahadasha, Saturn is the lord of your 10th house of career and status and your 11th house of assets, and also wider friendship circles, network circles. Saturn's going to demand quite a lot of an Aries Lagna for sure, and a lot of it can be frustrating because of this Mars-Saturn conflict. But with a well-placed Saturn, your career will definitely take off, even though it will demand enormous sacrifice sometimes, enormous hard work and patience. You will feel like throwing in the towel many times in your career. You will feel like nobody is promoting you, nobody is helping you. But in time, if you show the uttermost patience, restraining your impulsivity, Saturn will help you. It's all about not throwing in the towel at the slightest provocation, because that can be a real issue. Now, for Taurus ascendant and Taurus Lagnas in any Virgo chart, particularly D1, this is about Yoga Karaka impact. Saturn rules your 9th house and your 10th house, Kendra Trikone. Therefore, this is Yoga Karaka Mahadasha, most auspicious, most favorable. But 9th house is a Badaka house. There will be obstacles. Do not expect it to be so smooth. There will be obstacles, but ultimately you will end up in a better place than where you started, most of you. Expect career to be extremely favored. Foreign lands, foreign people coming into your life, higher education, extremely favorable. In every way, you can rise in life to more security in this Mahadasha for sure. So for Gemini Lagna and Gemini rising in any Virgo chart, expected intelligence and intuition and careful planning and strategy will be needed, because Saturn is your 8th, 9th house lord. Because he lords your 9th house, he will ultimately take you to a good position and give you fortune for sure in this Mahadasha. But there will be sudden events, financial crisis sometimes, changes in legacies, so on. Family issues, business issues can become challenging. You will overcome all of these because Mercury is intelligent and a friend of Saturn. Higher education, foreign lands are all favored. In the end, this is a favorable factor for this Mahadasha. So for Cancer ascendant Lagna in any chart, particularly D1, Saturn is going to challenge you here because he rules the 7th house, which is opposite to who you are, and he's not a friend to your ruler moon. So other people are going to challenge you consistently. Expect other people to be taking the reins of your life probably in this 19-year period. But if you have a well aspected strong Saturn, they can benefit you. You have to go along with other people. You have to try to be more accommodating if you can to them, even if they seem to be a bit heavy on you. Ultimately, that's the point. Relationships are going to be challenging, but again, Saturn wants to give you security here. If he is well aspected, well placed, that will help you for sure. Eighth house factors like finances that are business and also spousal finances, all sort of joint factors can become troublesome. So it's about finding a deep inner calm, because you are very sensitive to what other people say and think, and you're going to have to find an inner security in this Mahadasha. But don't forget, Saturn wants to give you stability ultimately, and if you go along with his plan for you, it will be far better than you could imagine. So for Leo Lagna, Saturn Mahadasha is definitely challenging because the sun is an enemy to Shani. So here's what's really going on though. Your authority, your sense of ego, you like to be in control, there's no doubt about it, is being threatened by Shani. Other people are getting on your nerves. Other people are not going along with your plans. Your spouse, everything, it's just like conflict after conflict. Saturn wants you to be more humble. Saturn wants you to be kinder and more patient. These are what you have to remember in this 19-year period. But you can expect litigation. You can expect some form of lawsuits very often in some area of your life. You must see where is Saturn and where the Lord has gone. All the things I've said you have to look at in your personal chart. But for every Leo, it's as though people are on your back. It's as though people are getting on your case. Authority figures, you don't like dealing with them, well, they're going to be dealing with you in this time period, and it won't be easy. Patience, Leo, is definitely needed. So for Virgo Lagna, you've definitely got some challenges in Saturn Mahadasha, but you're going to be up for them. Why? Because Mercury, your Lord, is a friend to Shani. So you can expect issues with children, issues with offspring, issues with creativity and education to become challenging and demand so much attention that you think you've no minute to yourself. You can deal with this. You are a meticulous planner. You know how to work hard. So you can work with this Saturn energy definitely, but expect conflicts, maybe health issues for some of you. Expect that things seem like there's never ending things going wrong every minute. But guess what? Nobody in the whole zodiac is better placed to deal with these little factors, these challenging everyday things than Virgo. And even when they become big and serious factors, by being meticulous, by being patient, which you are, you will come on top of all these factors. Education can be favored. You can go to the heights in your education with application for sure. So Libra rising and you're in Shani Mahadasha, this is a great cause for celebration. Saturn will take you where you need to be. You see, Saturn is going to take you to the greatest place, the absolute pinnacle of what you can be. Saturn is your yoga karaka, ruler of your 4th and 5th house. Expect family issues to be really important. Moving house, changing living situations, it's going to be an absolute focus. Education, children, an absolute focus in this 19-year period. But guess what? You are on top of any of these issues. You gain control. You find that you can make your life work, and Saturn can give you absolute good fortune. Many times luck is on your side. This is your past good karma coming to your rescue at this time. It's a most auspicious Mahadasha. So for Scorpio Lagna, it's family. Everything about family that comes to the fore in this Mahadasha. It's all about who you are, where you come from, your home, your country, your culture that is being shaken up here now. It's about where you want to go in life and where you are coming from. Mother issues, family issues, sibling issues, it's all happening in this 19-year period. It's going to test your patience, Scorpio. It's going to make you feel like you just want to escape. but you won't be able to. You will have to take on severe responsibilities in this time, but long term Saturn will stabilize you. Why is this? Because Saturn is your 4th house lord in Aquarius. He is able to give you a secure home, a feeling of belonging, a feeling of security. Even if you go through many changes, many upheavals, in the end, Saturn can favor you absolutely. So Saturn Mahadasha for Sagittarius Lagna can be a bit challenging, but still you are ruled by Jupiter, by Dharma, by doing right action. Keep that in mind. You won't go far wrong because Saturn's going to tempt you. Saturn's going to give you some strange situations developing because the 3rd house is about illicit activity as well as sibling issues, and the 2nd house is about your values, what you value, and of course money issues. So money's going to be tight. Money's going to be something which you don't normally worry about and you normally get on top of, but there's going to be insecurity money-wise. There's going to be family concerns, sibling concerns, and a real feeling of uneasiness here because you're a bit of a happy-go-lucky Jupiterian person. Saturn is for seriousness, hard work, and all of those factors which you find a little bit trying at times. But your moral sense will save you in this Mahadasha for sure. So Capricorn Lagna, you've been waiting for this Mahadasha. Your Lord Saturn and the 2nd house lord of your assets, money, values, belief systems, everything. It's going to become more secure, more purposeful. You're going to gain control of your life in this Mahadasha, but you must check House of Saturn and where the dispositor has gone for all those minute details. On the whole, though, whatever obstacles are there, you will overcome them. You will feel all of a sudden as though you know your limits. Here's the thing. You have a very clear boundary system and Saturn Dasha will bring them out. You will cut off people who are unnecessary to you, 7th house. You will get away from disrupting family issues. You will put everything into a box and you will deal with everything systematically. You will start to feel so much more in control of your life and it's a very satisfying feeling. Now for Aquarius Lagna, Saturn as a lord of your chart, and of course this is a multicone sign of Saturn, it's going to give you some strange experiences in Mahadasha for sure because of his 12th house rulership. He's going to definitely take you to foreign lands, absolutely. He's going to definitely show you people, cultures, situations, and occult knowledge that you couldn't have imagined. But this will actually be beneficial for you. This will actually help you to grow. You will gain enormous purpose in this Mahadasha. You will feel like you are in control of your life, just like Capricorn Lagna, but you particularly will feel as though people are looking up to you. People are depending on you, and you will actually grow to like this despite yourself, okay? Because Aquarians can be a bit quirky about responsibility sometimes. So expect that you are going to grow beyond loss. Aquarius is a sign that sometimes gives loss in life. Whatever you've experienced before this Mahadasha, you will overcome all of the grief. You will overcome all of the fear. Saturn will really give you a deep purpose, a deep confidence in this Mahadasha for sure. So for Pisces Lagna ruled by Jupiter, Saturn will favor you, especially when you keep to your high dharmic ideals. Saturn is your 11th and 12th house lord. As your 11th house lord, he will increase assets for you in this Mahadasha if you can go with some losses along the way, because the 12th house is about loss. You must contain expenses. You must become more frugal in this Mahadasha. And if you do that by holding off from buying so much or being so impulsive, because Pisces, you are very impulsive, you will find that Saturn will increase your wealth for you slowly over this Mahadasha. He will also change your friendship networks. Friends who are not good for you may well leave your life. New friends will definitely come. Foreign lands, foreign cultures, foreign travel will definitely be there and favourable. Spiritual factors are strongly shown. A deep spiritual wisdom that you have in any case, but it will increase tremendously in this Mahadasha. So everyone, I hope the video was useful for you. Don't forget to check up on the screen now, sign of Saturn, to see the deep inner karmas you are bringing to the Mahadasha. Sub to my channel if you haven't already. Coming up soon, more videos on Vedic and all astrology. Goodbye and God bless you all.